Hello, Valerie.
Hi, Tanya. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's really nice to be together with you here, making this recording. I will introduce Valerie, and then I will introduce the topic of our discussion. So Valerie is an RTT hypnotherapist who is working both online and from a clinic in Ivanhoe from September. Is it right?
That's correct.
Clinic. The clinic is called Emerge, and it's a natural therapist clinic. This is actually point of connection between myself and Valerie. We met about a month ago, and we both studied RTT hypnotherapy. We decided that it would be a great idea for us to get together, create a little collective between myself and Valerie, and work together as colleagues from this clinic. So that's where we will be from September, both of us. And interesting thing about Valerie and myself was that when we first met, there was this magnetizing effect between both of us, because it's like seeing your reflection, the person who you have so much in common with, without them saying anything, but you just know that they know. Somehow maybe you've gone through common life experiences, or maybe you've learned similar things about life or people or yourself, and now you're at the point of your life when you're ready to bring out the wealth of experience and knowledge and the education that you've done, and you want to bring it out of yourself and offer it to people. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we are at the similar point, and we are taking a bit of a risk, but I do feel supported because Valerie is with me, and all of you as well. Thank you for watching us, and thank you if you have any interest. Now, Valerie, today's topic is not coincidental.
No, it's not.
We just went for a coffee, and among other things, we started talking about our own experiences with depression. And they were very similar. And Valerie said that how with depression, a lot of it goes unrecognized because people are very good at masking it. Sometimes it's called smiling depression. And it just clicked. We thought, oh, we should make a video on that, because a lot of people are not aware that that's what might be happening under the surface. So it would be good to talk about masking depression. Are you doing it? What is smiling depression? We will share a bit of our personal stories if it feels comfortable for us. Go through some symptoms, examples, causes of so-called smiling depression, and why people are hiding the depression. So Valerie, why don't you start with whatever starting point you are happy?
Well, I went undiagnosed for 15 years. I had no clue that I had depression. I went from a very social, energetic person to a very slow, sluggish person that started to lose passion for life and the things that I enjoyed. And basically just getting into a routine of, I have to get up, I have to go to work, you know. So fortunately, I look at that now and I think getting up and going to work actually saved me. But what happened for me was just an absolute, what felt at the time like an avalanche of loss and grief. So people passing away, there was just one after the other after the other. I lost my job, had to move house. So there were a lot of big grief, stress factors. And my upbringing was pretty much that you just keep going. So you just dust yourself off and you just keep going. So nothing was ever really resolved. Now, because I could get up and wash my hair and put my corporate clothes on and my makeup and my lippy, I would put on the smiling mask.
Right.
And no one had any clue. So it's been, depression, as we know, has been very silent for a very, very long time. And being in a depressive state is not always just a passing mood. Oh, you'll snap out of it. Or just go for a walk, or just do this. And nor is it a weakness, which is a lot of, we've been, you know, oh, that's weak. No, it's not. And we're hearing more and more and more about people, high profile people, and particularly athletes that are coming out and saying, well, I've been depressed for my whole life. But yes, mine was grief and loss.
Yeah, it's very interesting how you say on the surface, we appear well put together.
Yeah.
Nobody will guess that we're struggling under the surface.
No.
On the surface, you appear well, accomplished, you're educated, things are running in your life, no reason to be unhappy.
That's right. Yeah.
But what's happening under the surface? What were some of the feelings that you were going through? For me, it was constant self-doubt to the point of boring myself in a very dark places. The feeling of worthlessness.
Yes.
Nothing I do was good enough. Whereas on the outside, for the outside world, I was well, I was educated, I had a full-time job, I had a family, I did sports, I was always active. I wouldn't be typically depressed people, what we would perceive, the person who can't get themselves out of bed, who is sad. I was very energetic, you know, but what was happening on the inside was really, was very dark. Yeah. And on the outside, I was smiling. That's why, for me, it was undiagnosed for a very long time. And just like for yourself.
And I found too with mine is that I was sent off different paths, but it actually took me further down the rabbit hole. Oh, you need to go see this doctor. Oh, it's, you know, it's this, it's that, it's this. And you're spending all your waking moments, if you're not at work, you're at doctors, or and you're spending a lot of money. And I remember my accountant saying to me one year, all you've done is just pay for medical. There's no savings here, it's medical. So that looking for answers, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Why am my wheels falling off? Why am I fading away? Why am I feeling numb?
Yeah. Yeah. And those are good symptoms to look out for. Any changes in sleep, you're experiencing insomnia, change in eating habits. For me, I stopped eating. And I actually developed anorexia, severe anorexia over the period of 7 years. Nobody picked up on that. You know, it was well, now I think complex PTSD and depression were root causes. Then if you're feeling hopeless and
helpless. I felt helpless.
Yeah, the helplessness is a biggie. But on the surface, you appear happy and cheerful. That's what masking is about. Now, I would like to ask you, why are we masking? If we're internally are so unhappy, why are we masking?
Well, for most people, including myself, and particularly like if we're in a school setting or if we're in a work setting, it's the something is not safe. So being honest, being vulnerable to others. So we hide what we don't want others to see. And that masking relates to our human experiences, which is often referred to as what lies beyond and beneath the mask. And it's very interesting, if I may go back a bit, when you said complex PTSD, I had no idea once I got into doing the work that we now do, is that I had CPTSD from a young child.
Yeah, I didn't have an idea.
No, and so it was just, once I realized what was going on, it was, oh, okay, that's why I got depression. So for people that aren't 100% sure, complex PTSD is that one event after another, after another, after another, and nothing's being dealt with. It's just building blocks of trauma. So that's why, in a nutshell, why we must, because it's not safe in a workplace to go around, oh, I've got depression or I'm suffering PTSD, because the fear of being judged.
That's right.
Or you might lose your job, or oh, you're not up for the task, or many things.
Yeah. And a lot of people also feel that the inner experience is not valid.
Yes.
It's almost like they're judging themselves for having the internal feelings.
Yes.
Saying that you've got everything. You've got the job, you've got the relationship, you've had all of this. You have no right to be depressed. Look at all these people. They have right to be depressed.
Yes.
Feeling guilty about their own feeling is a big thing as well.
Absolutely.
And because you feel guilty and self-judgmental, you cannot really share with others.
No, exactly.
So you keep putting on more and more masks.
And it drives you further and further away of where you actually want to be. It is a driving force. You know, we just don't want people knowing the truth, let alone seeing the truth. Because of that shame a lot of the time, and embarrassed, and you know, sometimes we do conceal the truth, but we portray another emotion, like the smiling depression. But yes, it all comes down to just not feeling safe around letting other people know.
Yeah, and this brings us back to our tribal origins, when you had to be strong to survive.
Yes.
And having vulnerable feelings and depression and feeling sad and hopeless is a sign of feeling weak.
Yes.
You know, we still have this tribal brain, the tribal evolutionary technologies within us that are basically making us feel that putting our feelings there and saying, yes, this is how I experience what I experience on the inside, shows as a sign of weakness.
That's right.
When we're weak, we are in danger.
That's right.
Which is not very logical, but this is how our bodies perceive, our nervous systems perceive weakness as danger.
And I can remember growing up too, just listening to ancestors, and that's why they call it ancestral trauma. But things happen to people in life. You know, my mother always said, people won't change, times will. And that is so true. We still
that's a good point.
Have trauma, and it's not dealt with. And for the men, you know, some of the language around, you know, elder men talking to male youth, oh, don't do that, or, you know, don't cry. And like we have emotions and feelings for a reason, but they were just squashed. It was like, you're not allowed to have those. You can have these, but you can't have those emotions.
That's right. That's a very good point about people not changing when times do. So a lot of us are stuck in the beliefs and
from ancestors,
scaffolds, and just the cultures and morals of our ancestors. And we carry it unconsciously within our own systems.
Well, I've learned to be vulnerable, and I have to say that a lot of my family, whoa, what's this? And I go, oh, don't you think it suits me? Because I love being vulnerable now, because it's freeing, it's liberating, it's honest. There's no room for gossip or hearsay, or because this happened to me. I'm real, I'm a human.
Yes, that's right. There is a lot of freedom in it, and you are giving yourself a gift of freedom.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. And depression is highly treatable.
Yes.
And according to statistics I have here, 35% of adults are getting no treatment for depression. Now, if we can talk a little bit, there are different, and just a little bit of disclaimer, this is not medical advice. You should always consider if whatever we're talking about is relatable to you. Never disconnect any of the medication that you are on or any of the help that you are getting currently with your therapist, psychotherapist. What we want to do here and to bring more awareness and this openness about our own experiences as people who have dealt with depression, who have undiagnosed depression for a long time, who are masking depression, living with smiling depression, complex PTSD, and what we're doing, what we have done to treat that. And Valerie's experience is different from mine. And what we're doing now as RTT therapists to help. So hypnotherapy would be one of the ways that you can tackle with or look at the complex issue of depression. All treatment is highly individual, and you have a team of people working for you, the network of people. So a hypnotherapist could be one of the people on your team to help you look deeper into the causes, emotional causes of depression. Could you talk a little bit about what hypnotherapy can do for treatment of depression?
Sure. Now, hypnotherapy, for me, it addressed the negative subconscious beliefs. So we have limiting beliefs, and it's the meaning that we've attached to an event when we were younger. And in my experience, I have done counselling, and I've been on both sides, the counsellor and the person receiving the counselling. And there became a common theme of how the talking wasn't shifting anything. Yes, we could understand it with our logic mind, but as we know, as trained RTT hypnotherapists, that emotion will always win over logic. So to absolutely get to the root cause, hypnotherapy was able to address those limiting beliefs at a subconscious level. And yes, there were difficult emotions, and sometimes they were unpleasant. But as we know that when you are suffering from depression, you believe your beliefs and you believe your thoughts are real. But as we now know, your thoughts aren't real. And it's about the emotion. It's how you feel about yourself. So for hypnotherapy, it's to get to the root cause of why we may feel stuck, why we may feel anxious or depressed or anything that is the presenting issue. And we uncover those negative meanings, the interpretations, which is the self-belief and from previous life events. And then what we do with the meaning and the interpretation, which again is the self-belief, we make them positive, and we make it's quite empowering. So it's creating new positive beliefs for long-term change. But the key is we access the when, the why, the how, the age, and it then, as we know, you can't fix what you don't understand. And once you get that origin and that meaning, and you go, oh, so that happened to me when I was 4, 5, 6, or whatever age that is, and you realize that it's the meaning you've attached, but that's been running in your background your entire life.
That's right.
And most of the time, it's not your fault. You've taken on somebody else.
That's right. You've taken on someone else's belief. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And another thing is that you have created a very powerful adaptation within yourself to the immediate social environment. If this is how your parents treat you, or this is the way that our family runs, and this is against how I express myself, there are situations when I am overwhelmed by stress and I cannot rebalance or regulate, and there is no emotional available adult around me to help me move through those emotions. That's when stuckness is created, and that's when the trauma is seeded, the seed of trauma. Then the more and more of these events you have, it gets harder and it gets impossible for you to self-regulate. Then when we grow up and we have our new life challenges, we create careers, we want to achieve adult life objectives, what happens? There is that stuckness. I can't seem to move forward. I get stuck. The more it does, the more your system does it, the more you create that kind of a vortex that I can't keep moving forward. The blocks, the self-sabotage come into play. And sometimes we think there is no reason for me to feel that way. There is no logical reason, but there is that emotional reason. There is the reason of your body that is still running those stresses, because it feels those stresses are life-saving. They're protecting you, and the body and the emotions are still doing the same job they started long time ago. So that's what Valerie said so well. Just go back, look at what is working still in your system. Understand the origin of it, and transform it in a way that it wants to transform, and upgrade it. Upgrade the system of beliefs that is still running in your body and your mind, in your emotion, but it's already so outdated. We're not here to judge or to hate anything or to say it's outdated, we're going to trash it. It's not about that. It's about bringing yourself up to the level of development where you want to be, to align with your adult goals.
It's like finding where did it happen, where you felt you weren't enough, or that you were made to feel different, or something was drummed into you, oh, it's not available to you.
Exactly. Those are very strong beliefs, and they have a power to hold us back unconsciously. So hypnotherapy really helps us to look at those beliefs, understand their value for us at that time, at the time of their creation, and why they keep working. And most importantly, help us move through that. And that's when we bring the compassion, the love, the understanding, the validation, and bring yourself up as an adult to look at the experiences of that child. This is very powerful, and it always works with my clients. It worked for me, and I'm sure it worked for you. When you look from the outside on yourself as a child, and you understand that this child carries the belief and this child needs the help. Now, I need to just correct one thing here. When we say a child, a lot of people think it's an inner child. I do not use the word inner child, and I think it's important to make a distinction. Inner child is more of archetypal thing, an inner child. There is no such thing as inner child for me. There are inner children. There is pain that's stuck, that has meaning for you, that was formed in the past. So, and it presents as inner children or children of different ages. Sometimes that's how it presents, but so I thought it was important for me to make that correction. It's not all about inner child work. There is more involved in that than that.
I had an amazing man. That's an excellent point. And we had to work on, there was 5 ages for him. And he just needed to address those parts of himself that were made to feel not enough, different, and not available to him, and to then integrate those 5 ages back inside. So yes,
that's
very,
really, that would be the essence of our work.
Yes.
To see what the pain is, and sometimes it shows up as many different ages coming up, and every part comes up with very specific requirements or needs, something it needs from you. It's nothing general, it's nothing from imagination. Those parts have ability to communicate to you if you are ready to listen, if you're open enough to listen, those needs that you can then and there look after. It doesn't have to take a lot of years. The inner world or the inner world processing speed, I would say, be different. It's almost like we're dealing with quantum level of physics. The processing can happen very quickly. You can unload deeper pain quickly. Now, this is not to say it's a miracle cure, but this is just an invitation for our audience to look at hypnotherapy and the things that you can do during hypnotherapy that can unload the deeper stresses, can help you address and reconnect with the vulnerable parts of you that need your help, attention, and care.
They need a voice. So that's where the adult comes along and is open enough to allow those ages and versions of ourselves to give a voice.
That's really well put. It's like reparenting yourself. Becoming a parent, repair and reparent. And this is the power from within. This is what everybody can do. So experiencing a hypnotherapy session in this way just helps you to understand yourself better and gives you a guide. Okay, this is how I can talk to myself. This is how I can maybe reconcile with myself and listen to myself more. I think we are coming to the end of our discussion. I love the flow. I think I don't know, I would love to hear feedback on this, and if anything that you would like to ask us in terms of we can talk more a little bit more about depression. We can talk about other adaptations that we develop into things like I eat too much, I cry too much, I can't move forward with my career or relationship. Anything of interest, we're happy to share.
Be good to have a lot of questions come in and then we can answer that.
Yes, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's great.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, and it's a pleasure as always, Valerie.
Thank you,
I
Tanya.
hope we can do it again.
We will definitely do it again.
Okay.
All
Say
right.
bye.
Bye.